I know it's only a preseason game, but what the was that, man? That was one of the most disgraceful performances I have ever seen by a Raiders team in the preseason of all time. I mean, what on earth did we just witness? If Antonio Pierce is able to pick a quarterback after that game, then I don't know what the hell I'm even doing here. I don't know what anybody's doing here watching that game. Raiders lose 27-12 to a bunch of backups on the Dallas Cowboys. We had some starters in the game in the third quarter. Hell, we had even bled into a little bit of the fourth quarter. Aidan O'Connell, not great. Gardner Minshew, not great. Aidan throws a pick six, and quite frankly, I think if AP would have taken AOC out of the game before that pick six, he would have been the QB1 of this football team. But like going into the game, I said somebody's got to win the battle. Somebody's got to win the battle. Gardner Minshew didn't win the battle. Aidan O'Connell didn't win the battle. In fact, if anything, I'm sitting here going right now, do we trade for a quarterback? Do we sign somebody off free agency? Because this was a game that nobody showed up. A game that was supposed to be the most important preseason game of all time, where you're going to be able to figure out who that quarterback was going to be. You left today with no answers. You left today with nothing but just question marks going, is my defense actually good? Or is my defense not great? We're just playing against a shitty offense the entire time. I mean, did anybody even want to show up? If you're going to wear a Raiders jersey, if you're going to put that helmet on, if you're going to rock that album, damn it, where was surprise? Today was bad, man. Today was bad, 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 bad. The Raiders played like they were going to have the number 1 overall pick. Like, if that's the team that's going to go out there on the field, it's going to be a long season. If that's the team that's going to go out there in the field, you better hope they win 6.5 games. Because the Achilles heel to this team, I knew was going to be the quarterback position. But you also expect your other guys to show up. You expect your offensive line, your defensive line. Today was a heartless performance, and I don't even like Kanye West. So be honest with me. This is the pinned comment here on today's show. Give me a yes or give me a no. Are you worried about this team right now? And I said this during our live show, and I mean it. If you answer this question here and you're not saying yes, you didn't watch the game. And I don't want to hear, oh, Mitch, it's only preseason. You're overreacting. Guys, we had Raiders starting players for majority of this game going up against second, third, and fourth string Dallas Cowboys players. A game that Dallas didn't even try to win. We were out there trying to at least execute some of our offense. Now, I get it. Maybe you don't want to show your entire hand on defense. You don't want to show your entire hand on offense. But, like, if your starting offense can't compete against backups, that's scary to me. Like, we had multiple chances to score. Gardner Minshew was like 0 for 6 today. Aidan O'Connell wasn't great today. And then that pick six, man. The pick six is the nail in the coffin of what the hell are we going to do at the quarterback position? You can't turn the ball over. The Raiders had opportunities early on to score in the red zone. Where was Luke Getsy? Luke Getsy was nowhere to be found. I mean, from top to bottom. This is the most pissed off I have been over a preseason game simply because time is valuable. Time is the only thing in your life that you don't get back. And quite frankly, I would have had a much more enjoyable night if I didn't watch this game at all. I would have had a much more enjoyable night doing literally anything. And I watched that tonight. There's no way Antonio Pierce can name a quarterback. If I'm AP, I make Aidan and Gardner go out there and do it again. I make this entire team go out there and play in the third preseason game. I look at Devontae Adams and I go, you're playing in this third preseason game. Everybody's playing in that third preseason game. Why? Because nobody showed up tonight. Nobody showed up tonight. I shouldn't say nobody. DJ Turner and Trey Tucker I was impressed by. Nobody, though. What the hell was that? Oh, man, I literally feel like somebody stole a whole bunch of money from me. I am that sick to my stomach that I feel like somebody took a whole bunch of money out of my bank account. And if you need to be able to save up for some money as well, manage your budget, your credit score, lower bills as well with Rocket Money. It's a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bill so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, I have full control over my subscriptions, even though I don't have full control over the Raiders, and a clear view of my expenses, and I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. And if I see something I don't want, Rocket Money can help me cancel it with just a few taps. I love my fiance, Alex, but she's the queen of signing up for a free trial and then forgetting about it. Rocket Money helps me and her make sure that we aren't just throwing away money. If you're someone saving up for a house, wedding, car, vacation, maybe it's a new quarterback, then you should get started with rocketmoney.com/LV Raiders. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year using all the app's features. Stop wasting money, and damn it, stop wasting my time. Go to rocketmoney.com/LV Raiders. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. I see some people saying, bring back Jimmy G. That's the second dumbest thing I've heard today. The dumbest thing I've heard today was from Steve, who said we should bring back Josh McDaniels and fire Antonio Pierce. No, I get that you're upset. That's dumb. That's really dumb, Steve. I hate to break it to you. It's dumb. Aidan O'Connell, 14 of 20, 96 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Why is he still in the game? Like, I'm upset at AP because why is Aidan O'Connell still in the game? But then I'm also, as a Raider fan, going, well, maybe it was the right decision to put him in the game because he threw a pick six, and now we're still in a situation where we're going, I don't know who the starting quarterback is. Aidan didn't win the job. Gardner didn't look good either. He was 10 of 21 for 95 yards. I'm just so pissed off because, like, we knew what the issue was going to be. We knew that the quarterback position was going to be an issue, and yet nothing was done about it. And yeah, we tried to get Jaden Daniels. You try to sign Gardner to be a little bit of a security blanket, but my God. Oh, my God. Jarrett, let's go. Why did we not get a quarterback in the offseason? We are in trouble. The Raiders tried. They did, man. They did actually try. I think now you're sitting back going, do I try to trade for Kirk Cousins? Do I try to trade for another quarterback that's out there on the market? Like, do you try to trade for Justin Fields? I get it. He was already part of the Luke Getsy system. Seems like a waste of time. The problem is right now, though, you don't have a quarterback that deserves to start in the NFL. I don't know if the Raiders have a top 32 QB in the NFL. Legitimately, I don't know if they have a top 32 quarterback in the NFL. Jersey boy, trade for Flacco. You don't want that. I would lose my mind. I don't know if my mind can handle the Raiders trading for Flacco. Flacco's my mortal enemy. I can't do it. But right now you play like a team that could get the number 1 overall pick. If I'm a Raider fan, I'm watching Jalen Milroe. I'm watching Cam Ward. I'm watching any QB that you think could go in the top 5, top 10, number 1 overall, because after what I saw today, that's a team a lot closer to picking number 1 overall than making the playoffs. Nico, some glass half full, still missing Miller, JPJ, Tay, and Bowers on offense, who all would help a ton. Completely agree with you, Nico. And I think, when you go back and you look at this game, that is probably the biggest takeaway that you can have. But then I would also say, if you have Miller, JPJ, Tay, and Bowers up against that Dallas Cowboys starting defense, I don't know if it made a difference. You went up against second and third string players, and that was the performance you got. You had your potential starting quarterback playing in the late third quarter of a preseason game, y'all. Like, AP was not happy. The fact that these Raiders players played as long as they did, I think just shows everything, that AP wasn't happy either. And there's no way any Raiders player can be happy. But, like, if I'm Antonio Pierce, I got to look myself in the mirror and go, what type of head coach am I going to be? Am I going to be a head coach that lets players decide what we're going to do? Or am I going to be a head coach that goes, you know what? If you're rocking that jersey, nobody's above the shield. And I'm telling you right now, it would be a very difficult conversation to have. But if I'm AP, I look at every single one of those Raiders players and I go, there's a chance you're playing in that third preseason game because nobody showed up tonight. Dan, would it be worth it to trade Minshew for Hendon Hooker? Nobody's going to trade for Gardner Minshew after that game. Nobody's going to trade for Aidan O'Connell after that game. Hendon Hooker, I actually think, would be a better option than maybe Gardner and Aidan. Maybe. I think it would at least be worth a competition of a battle. Now, I'll admit, Gardner and Aidan have the upper hand because they already know the Luke Getsy offense, but that's a trade that you should have made before the season even started. But even then, like, I don't know if it's a trade I would have made at the beginning of the season, because if you were going to go into the season, you're hoping for a lot more than Hendon Hooker. If I'm also the Detroit Lions, I'm not trading you Hendon Hooker because I got high Super Bowl aspirations. And if, God forbid, anything happens to Jared Goff, you want to have a QB that you're comfortable with in the playoffs. We've seen in years past a guy like Nick Foles. If I'm the Lions, I'm thinking of Hendon Hooker like Nick Foles. If my starter Wentz goes down, can I still win football games with him in the playoffs? J-Roy, defense will be great, but with no QB, it's pointless to have playoff hopes. Add another season in Vegas with no home field advantage. Get Dak for 2026. Well, what's wrong with 2025 would be my response to that. I mean, but also, like, the defense, though. Like, guys, the defense didn't play well today either, right? Like, if our quarterback play is going to play the way that it did tonight, you legitimately need to have a top 10 defense be even in the consideration to make the playoffs. Like, the way our defense played tonight and the way the defense played even that first drive against Minnesota, Minnesota's not a good offense with Sam Darnold out there. He's not. And then tonight you have Cooper Rush and a bunch of backups, and even then the defense, didn't look the way that it should have looked. You know what I'm talking about? Like, if we're going to say the defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL, your defense got to play better. It's got to play better. It's got to play better. Ruben, shout out to special teams, I guess. First team defense, what the F did I just see? For the love of God, keep Tyree inside. Tyree Wilson is a defensive tackle. You can't just keep putting him out there at defensive end. He doesn't have the step. He doesn't have the moves. He is a power rusher right now, and that's basically it in the NFL. I don't have an answer for you besides that. I have very high aspirations for Tyree Wilson, and today was another very bad day. Byron Young, dudes get pushed back 3-4 yards every time somebody calls hike. This was supposed to be a defensive line that goes up and shows up. They need to start showing up. They need to start sacking up, because what I see is a bunch of heartless play out there on the field. I'm a GOAT. Getsy's play calling is horrible. Your thoughts? If there's one thing that I'm not going to try to over-freak out about, it's Luke Getsy's play calling, and I say that because if I'm an offensive coordinator, I don't want to show my best plays in the preseason, right? You're hoping that your two QBs, you're hoping that your offense is able to go out there and at least execute it at somewhat of a level, but like Aidan threw a pick six tonight. Gardner Minshew should have threw a pick six today. Like that first drive, that very first drive, Gardner telegraphed the throw the entire way through it, and it went right through a linebacker's hands. Probably could have been a pick six. If that ball's also a pick six, I'm way worse than I am right now. If you want nonstop Raiders videos all year long, hit that subscribe button. The content that I'm going to be giving you guys, it's technically today, August 18th. I'm giving you Overreaction Sunday and Winners and Losers. I don't know the last time I was this upset. It's probably when McDaniels was our head coach. I'm bringing that tomorrow. Y'all better be ready for it. Raider Nation, only have $2, but Raider Nation for life. Honestly, man, sometimes I need a good super chat like this just to be like, I love y'all to the end of the moon and back. Real talk. I do this show for Raider Nation. It's the best fan base in all of sports, and I get as upset as I do because, damn it, we deserve wins. This team, this fan base, they deserve to be able to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. This fan base is unbelievable. And, like, I get so upset because of all the time, all the money, everything that we invest into this team. And there's people that have been investing their time, money way, way longer than me, and I know that. So when you see a performance like today, and just to me, what rocking the shield means to me for players that are getting paid millions and millions of dollars out there, that's the performance you put on the field today. I mean, that's a tough one to be able to swallow. I agree with everything you're saying from Ninja. Ninja, I appreciate that, man. And it just comes back to sometimes you just got to give a shit. You got to wear that jersey with pride, and you can't tell me that today was a prideful experience. Like you can't tell me that. I feel defeated after a preseason football game, and I don't know how many NFL teams can make their fan base feel like that. I don't know how many, man. If you want more updates, news, rumors around the Raiders, remember, you can always follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. We're doing an instant reaction show here, and hopefully that's about as instant as it gets. Bottom line, today's game was terrible. Antonio Pierce didn't have his guys ready to play. Gardner Minshew didn't win the quarterback job. Aidan O'Connell didn't want to win the quarterback job. You can't tell me that you're going to be able to pick a QB. You got to be able to figure it out next week. If Antonio Pierce names a QB1 after today's game, it's because he already was going to name that QB no matter what. And if that's what we're going to do this season, that makes me very, very nervous for the 2024 season here for the Las Vegas Raiders.